We are live. I'm just going to give it a minute or so just to double check that we're working whilst we're waiting. Pour myself out a bit of a juice. Been on a mad hook tying session today, so just give it a few seconds. See if it's working. So we've got an eye icon, but it's not changing. So 1 second. Just message Joe. See if it's working. Looks like it's working. If anyone can comment, that'd be brilliant. So I'll just give it a few seconds. I think it's working. I'm useless at this. So yeah, if anyone can comment, that's brilliant. Stephen, you have saved my life. I was a little bit worried then. So it's from Stephen. Hi. Hopefully the sound's all right. I just want to double check. Normally I wear my headphones underneath my laptop. I've got like a little cooling down machine because my laptop gets really hot, and I just want to check that it's not too noisy. So we've got a few more going down. So this one's from Peter. Fine with me, Paul. That's brilliant, Peter. Go down a few more. It's from Roger. Evening, Paul. Evening, Roger. Hope you're keeping well. And then going further down, it's from Julian. You're right, Julian. Hope you're keeping well. Keep going down. Main thing is we're working. So this from Lee. Afternoon, all. Afternoon, Lee. This one's from Stephen saying, yes, the sound's good. So that's brilliant. I was a bit unsure. I just wanted to, it's a lot easier doing it without my headphones. And I just wanted to test it. So this one's from Ivor. Good evening, all. All good, Paul. That's brilliant. Keep going down. This from Paul Williams. Hello, Paul. Sounds good. Thank you ever so much, Paul. Hope you're keeping well. Again, keep going down. It's from Steve. Sound all good, buddy. Thank you ever so much, Steve. Hope you're keeping well. It's from Paul. I think thumbs up. Cheers, Paul. Star. And then going further down, it's from Chris. Evening, Chris. Hope you're keeping well. And our last one at the moment, Barry Smith. Evening, Paul. So evening, Barry. So I thought the last couple of times that I've done it, I seem to get most of the way through it, and then Joe's like, people are joining in at the end and they can't really hear, so you might be able to see I've been on an absolute hook time marathon. So I've got a few more to top up. Been doing, what have I been doing? 016 to a 16 Super LWG. The sun's coming out, so what we can do, we can put that to one side, move my hook box out of the way. Oops. Move my bits and pieces out of the way, and then we can start off with, I'll check what month it is, February's giveaway. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read out the bits that Joe's written down, and then we can start going through our giveaway as such. So Joe will send an email if you subscribe via the website, and that is support@matchfocus.co.uk. Read it out for me, superstar. But if you subscribe via YouTube, please email us. And then one thing that she said at the end, remember some of our subscribers have the same name, but if you think you've won, it's more if you subscribe on YouTube. Obviously we can't send you an email, so if you subscribe on YouTube, you think you've won, Joe will be able to double check it. So this month's giveaway will be from Blake's. So I'm going to read out what each person will win. So each winner will win a kilo of the fine expander, nice all-round mix, and then a kilo of the coarse expander, Paul Yates's mix. Again, I'm starting to use that more and more now it's warming up. And then going further down, a kilo of Skimmer's Dark, and this mix. Been really popular, that has, over the winter time. Okay, now we're starting to warm up. I've only got to see a bit of sun and a bit of daylight, and I love it. I like the feeling. So moving further down, now it's changing a little bit. A kilo of the ever faithful commercial masters pole mix, if I can get my words out right. And then lastly, they've still got a few of these tiny little 4 mil expanders when I popped in. They haven't got millions left, but whilst they're good, we carry on giving them away. So 700 grams of our 4 mil expanders. So I'll go through our comments and then I can announce our winners. So this one is from Andrew. Cool, timey simple. My little fingers are dying, to be honest, but it's this sort of time of the year when I always try and do my prep as such. I'd love to, but I've still, as daft as it sounds, I've still got a lot of me on to tie, Andrew. So moving further down, this one's from Lee. I've treated myself to the Guru XL rig case. To be honest, I absolutely love mine. I've got quite a few. I could probably lean over and grab them. But what I like about it is you can just guess. It's so hard to show you how many hooks you can get on a pin. It's ridiculous. And that's what I like about it. And as long as, like with me, I'm never going to change mine. So what I like about this one is obviously you've got your 2-inch and then 3-inch, 4-inch and 5-inch. And that way, when you do it, as long as the pins, that's the biggest thing, make sure that when you, there's a video on Match Focus about it, I'm sure there is. But basically, when you line the pins up, that they're not touching each other. But if you set it up like that, that's a little 6-inch one. That's the one that I use quite a lot. I have got the 15-inch one, so I can go and grab you one of those. But yeah, with this one, as long as you set it up 2-inch and 5-inch at the top, and then 3 and 4-inch at the bottom, they'll be absolutely perfect. But yeah, they're brilliant. I hold loads of hooks, and I've had it since the, I can actually, if you give me a second. Me other ones. So this one was the original prototype one, and it still shuts nice. You can still hear it click, but for it to shut best, you've just got to do, like I say, 2, 5, and then 3 that side and 4 the other side. But then this one is the longer one. I think this is the one that you're on about. They're brilliant. They're the ones I use for like all my bomb hook lengths. So I can have 6-inch, 8-inch, and then 12-inch at the top. But what's nice is they are big, but you can put an absolute rake of hooks in it, which is good. So going further down, actually, I've lost myself here a little bit. There we are. So this one is from Alan. Good afternoon, Paul. Good afternoon, Alan. Hope you're keeping well. This one is from Andrew Man. Evening, Paul. Hope you're well, buddy. Yeah, really good here, Andrew. Hope you're keeping well. And then moving further down. So, woo, I made it. Maybe it's my time. Maybe, Graham. Maybe. So this one's from Phil. Hello, darling. Hello, Philip. Hope you're keeping well. I love that lad. And then moving further down, Andrew Man, do you have one bookcase for all bands and one for just straight hooking? Hook case, I'm guessing. Yes. Well, you know what I'm like, Andrew, I'm bad, aren't I? But I'll show you because these are me. So if I get you me hook boxes, I've got one more. I'll talk you through them quick. Just give me dodging stuff. I've got rubbish everywhere. So, because the biggest thing for me is, it was more, to be honest, when I went to White Egg. So when you've got 2 festivals back to back, the last thing with doing our match reports and that as well, but not even with my match reports, when you fish in 2 weeks back to back, I know it's a bit specialist, not everyone's doing it, but the biggest thing for me, when it's cold throughout the winter time, I have spells when I like doing my prep. Like today, I've sat down and I've tied hooks all day and I could carry on tying them all night. I've had YouTube on, listening to, what have I been listening to? Teddy Swims, I think. When I've got good music on and I'm in the mood for it, I can sit and just tie loads. But when I like doing it, I try and make the most of the time when I like doing it, because sometimes we all know it's like you don't want to do it. So for me, again, it's I go OTT on it. but I quite enjoy doing the prep when I enjoy it. But the biggest thing is if I can sit down and just rattle off a load of hooks, when the warmer months come, and again for me, because we're out filming, doing our live matches, all of our festivals, I know that I've got plenty tied and I haven't got to worry about it. So when we go to Tunnel and Fisher Festival, I don't have to think, oh, I've got to go back and tie some more hooks if there's a rig that I want to tie or something like that. But I find that I can enjoy myself more when I'm away. We all know what it's like when you're fishing a festival. It's so busy. The last thing I want to do, same with my rigs really, don't want to be sat there tying up. So I taught you through mine, but again, remember over the top on it. I enjoy doing it. You don't need to do this many, but I'll show you how I carry my hooks. So my first hook clamp box, you'll be able to see there, this one's actually written like F1 pellet and Super LWG. So I carry, again, I've made my hook clamp boxes and glued them all in so they're never going to move. But obviously I haven't got many 2-inch ones for me F1 pellet hooks and me lighter Super LWGs. But just to give you an idea, for me F1 pellet hooks, I'll tie a 20 to 010, 18 to 010, a 16 to 010, only in a 5-inch because I use that for sort of dobbing bread. Then a 16 F1 pellet hook to 012. Now I use quite a lot of those hooks. So down in my 3 and my 4-inch pins, the ones that I use a lot of, instead of using my 16 to 010, I've got 2 pins of 16s to 012 because I'd say now, right at this moment, this is the perfect time where it's not good enough for an LWG, but it's getting a bit too good where you're going to be wanting to use 010 and a 20 or an 18 F1 pellet hook. So a 16 F1 pellet hook to 012 is absolutely perfect. And I use them a lot. And what I find is when I'm still using sort of like blue hydro, pink hydro, a 16 F1 pellet hook is perfect. Whereas when I'm starting to pull a bit too much and I need to step up to white grey hydro, then I start using Super LWG. So that's how it works in my mind. But yeah, basically in that hook length box is my lighter Super LWG. So a 20 to 012, 18 to 012 and 014. And they just stay with me F1 pellet hooks. So basically that's my first hook length box. My second hook length box is my Super LWG one, the one that I showed you. I like these hooks for everything, to be honest. I know some people like using Kaizens and they're brilliant for me on a method, but they're almost too sharp, whereas a Super LWG stays sharp forever. And I just get on really well with them. So I use a 16 to 014, 16 to 016, a 14 to 016, 14 to 018, and then a 12 to 020. That's sort of like my edge rig. So they're like my Super LWGs. And then again, almost a bit like my spade end hooks, I have 2 hook length boxes for my banded hook length. So in this one here, you'll be able to see, I don't know if I can show you as well as I can, but basically in here, I've got 16 Super LWG to 014 and 016, 2 pins of those because I use a lot of those hooks. And then I've got an 18 Super MWG to 018. So even though there's sort of 6 pins, 2 of them are the same. So 2 with a 16 to 014, 2 with a 16 to 016, 2 with an 18 Super LWG, Super MWG, sorry, to 018. Again, in 3, 4, and 5-inch, I don't use 2-inch hook lengths for those. And then my last hook length box is like my proper carve hook length box. And in here, I've just got Super MWGs. Again, because the bands are quite thick, I'm going to try and show you the best I can. But I like my bands to line up, if that makes sense. I don't like them all twisted and kinked because I think I'd rather have less hooks on a pin so that all my bands sit nice and straight. I don't want them, you know, sometimes when you put it over and it kinks back, if it's kinked for too long, when you take it off, it's just staying kinked. So with my bigger hooks and my bigger bands, I've just got this one hook box and it's got basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pins worth of 16 Super MWG to 020, so I use that a lot, and then a 14 Super MWG to 022. And I know that might sound crude to a lot of people, but if you go into sort of like Gold or Willingshurst or Meadowlands, Larford, anywhere where they pull really hard, I've just got my hook length box for that. But yeah, rather than basically, Andrew, rather than mixing them all up, I'd rather just keep my separate hook length boxes. And again, like with your banded hooks, you get nowhere near as many if you line your bands up. I can show you. I don't know the best way of showing you. It might be that way, actually. Let me line it up with the camera. I don't know which way I'm going. There. That's better there. So you'll be able to see there's not loads and loads and loads of hooks in there because they've got my bands and I just want them to line up. And a little trick if you're struggling to line your bands up, okay, let me get my tool 1 second. So if you just get a baiting needle, like a quick stop needle, like that, the one without the gate on it, you know, the one that's dead smooth, I can put it up to my hand. It's dead smooth, it's not got no gate or latch on it. Once you put your hooks on your pins, you can literally just use that, go through your bands, all the middle of your bands, just give them a wobble, take it out, and they'll all lie straight. And that way, when you take every single one off the hook, off your pin, your band is perfect. So, yeah. Again, I know I'm a little bit OCD. You haven't got to do as many as I do. But, yeah, if you can prep when it's cold, when you're not doing it, then when it does warm up and you want to concentrate on your fishing, it makes sense. So let me go back up now because I've lost where I'm at. So yeah, basically that's how I do it. But just it's doing enough for you so you've never got to worry about it when you're away. I think that's the biggest thing. If you go and do quite a few festivals, it's one less thing to worry about when you're away. So hopefully, Andrew, that helps. So going further down, looks like a great hook rig case. Yeah, they're really, really good, to be honest. They're absolutely brilliant. I love mine. And then going further down, this one's from Mark Elliott, evening coach. Evening, Mark. I hope you're keeping well. So that was Andrew. Hook case, sorry. It's that predictive text thing now, isn't it? Gets difficult. So this one's from Graham, 30 hooks boxes now up here. Yeah, I think, yeah, basically that one, whereas this is my little maggot one. I still keep these for sort of my one-off hooks that I use. And again, if I want to try something, like try a new hook, but this is like my method feeder one. So it's just, these are my 14 cars, and so it's like maggot method. And then at the top there, I've got 3-inch 14, 12, 18. I only use one hook size to one line. And then this one, oh, got my finger the wrong way. This one is just over 3 inches. And yeah, I still love these hook length boxes. They don't hold as many hooks because obviously with the pins. But yeah, I've still got quite a few of these light hook length boxes kicking around for all like my bits and pieces. So moving further down, this one's from David Phillips. When are you going back to Monk Hall to coach? We might do some. I think we did have 1 or 2 booked in, but I need to double check with Andy with his dates. But we will be going. I've got a feeling it's going to be. I'm just trying to think when the festivals are. July, September. No, they're not July. So it's September and November. So maybe before then, David. But we will be doing some live matches. So we just filmed one that was unbelievable. I absolutely love that place. And we are going to go back next month to film another live match. And we'll probably be doing a few regularly there as well. But yes, I would think it'd be before September, because the other ones we booked in, I lose track of what's going on in my life, to be honest. The ones that we booked in were for tunnel around April time and May. I think 2 in April we booked and 1 in May. But yes, I would think we would definitely be doing one in September time. So keep an eye out for that, David. So going further down, my missus wants to know where her keyring is. I will get you one. When I'm going to tunnel. I will do. So this one's from Barry. Paul, which ground bait would you recommend for the margin fishing at this time of the year for F1s and carp? For this time of the year, I'd probably opt for coarse expander or pole mix. The one thing with your coarse expander, because obviously it's so coarse, when you mix it, you've got to make sure that you add enough water to it so the larger particles don't flow. But to be honest, from now going forward, you're not going to go wrong just using pole mix, and then you could use that at other venues as well, even going through the summer. So if I was to pick one, Barry, just go for Commercial Masters pole mix. You'd be absolutely sound with that. So going further down, this one's from Lee. Also changed to RW floats, put in a large order Sunday evening, arrived today. Superb service. The best floats by a billion miles. They're unbelievable. What's so nice about Rich is like that little 3v8 Winter Maggie. When you find a float, where there's not one on the market. What's nice with Rich is he can make it to your length, the bristle, how much shot it takes. It's unbelievably well made, but you can have them sort of the next week, whereas mass producing them is so difficult with something like that. So yeah, Rich is just bang on. Like all my floats are Rich's. I really, really like it. I've been using let me go and grab one. I'm going to show you. Sorry for this up and down malarkey. But yeah. Let me just jump back down. So those ones there, solid bristle Maggies, 1.5 mil solid bristle. You'll be able to see up to my jumper. They're just so good. I've been using them all winter and I'm absolutely sold on them. They're shot so nice, so sensitive, and they all take the same shot, which is massive. But yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying them. Then. So going further down, this one is from Andrew Rogers. Have you tried the Supernatural line? Thoughts? I will be trying it. I've heard brilliant things about it. Obviously, when I left, they hadn't brought it out then, but I know Robbie Taylor, he's very much like me in the fact that he loves really, it's not old line, that's the wrong word to use. But I think, again, don't quote me on this, but I think you've got two lines. So you've got a polymer and a copolymer. So a polymer, I think when you look at it underneath a microscope, it's all a bit dinted and dented, whereas a copolymer is coated, which makes it really smooth. So the line that I like using is a polymer, and I'm sure that that's what that is. And I've heard great things about it. Robbie, I know, is very much like me, and he likes that type of line. And with all of the prototypes, I know he had it for a long time, and he absolutely swears by it. But yes, I will be trying some very, very soon, Andrew. So I can keep you updated with how I'm getting on with it. But I know me and Robbie are very similar in what we do like and what we don't like. And if he loves it, I'm pretty sure it's going to be brilliant. So going further down, it's from Lee Wilson. Andrew Rogers, I'm changing over to Supernatural line for spring, summer. Definitely give it a go. I say I've heard nothing but great things about it. So going further down, Steve McElroy, here for the bit outside of the membership draw. I promise to subscribe soon. It's no problems at all, Steve. No problems at all. Glad you're enjoying it. So from Andrew, no problems whatsoever. So going further down, we're getting there, and then we can do our giveaway bits. So this one's from Ryan Forrest. I managed to type 200 hook lengths Saturday. That's the thing. When you're on it and you fancy doing it and you've got your tunes on and just rattling through them, that's why I like having my hook length boxes the way that I've got them, because whenever you're in that mood, it makes sense to just get ahead of the game, especially with the ones that you want to be using. I'm not so keen on tying like 20 hooks to 010 and stuff like that, because I don't really want to be doing that fishing. But as soon as it warms up, I spoke to Sam Slockett earlier, and he's going to tunnel, and he said, "What you doing?" I said, "I'm tying 16 Super LWGs to 016. You just hear him, "Oh yes, I can't wait," and that's the thing. So definitely. So moving further down, this one's from Peter. What situations do you use 2-inch hook lengths for, Paul? Less than 12 inches deep. So when you're fishing, just say you were fishing in the edge and it was 10 inches deep. I ain't got a top kit with me. If you were fishing, say 10 inches deep, it's probably only like that deep. If you had a 4-inch hook length, your bulk could probably be 9.5 depth. A 3-inch hook length, and it's still, in my mind, it's still too high up, but less than 12 inches when I'm fishing in the edge and when I'm fishing shallow. When you look at it in proportion to your shot is in sort of like the bottom third, the bottom quarter. And I don't really want to be putting shot on the hook length. I mean, you can do. The problem that I found though is if you put shot on your hook length, especially when you're hooking bait, you notice it. But you go to hook your maggot and you think, oh, it's a bit blunt, but it'll do, because otherwise I've got to take my hook length up, I've got to put a shot on it. Whereas if you just, excuse me, use a 2-inch hook length, you'll find it absolutely fine. You're more inclined to change your hook. The one thing I will say with a 2-inch hook length though is when you're using like your little loop tire, is that one. And the other thing, this is well worth talking about. So my 2-inch hook lengths are actually not 2-inch hook lengths. They are just over 2 inches. So, excuse me, if you use this Guru board, so you can see with like, where's my hand? This side, it's grey to orange. Bottom, grey to orange, grey to orange. At the top, see my 2-inch pins there, it's not actually an orange board. That, where's my finger? So there, see how that's grey? They sell these separately, and what you'll find is it's just over. It's basically a pin longer than 2 inches. It don't sound a lot, but when it comes to tying an actual correct 2-inch hook length, it's so fiddly to tie. It's almost too short. Whereas if you use that grey board, can you see how it's just a little bit longer? So there's that orange pin next to it. It's dead in the middle. It's dead centre to that board. Whereas the grey one, see how it's just the other side? The head's going the wrong ways. Just this side of where, oh, there it is. It's so difficult, honestly, doing this. Everything's backwards. It would be directly in the middle, but can you see how it's just over this side a little bit? That pin extra of tying a 2-inch hook length just makes it, I'm not going to say it makes a doddle. I've only got little girl's hands, so it's a doddle for me to do it. But if you use that grey spares, you'll find it so much easier to tie it. But yes, less than 12 inches, Peter. So going further down, Ryan, Paul, when tying up pole rigs for maggots, do you tie up all the same, or do you move the shotting patterns on the rigs? So right, so here's me. This is a 4x12 solid bristled maggots. I'm going to try my best to show you. I might have to do it on the white background. So let me get it there, and if I can't move my head, so there, that might be. Look at that, that's a great shot. So you'll be able to see I've got me little staple. If I stop shaking, it's hard to try and balance it. So I've got my little staple, and they've got 2 number 11 cubes, 5 number 9s, and 2 number 13s. But it's basically all on top of the hook length loop. Now, with all of my, with all of my rigs, barring me Gloucesters, they're all tied like that, no matter what shot I want on them. If they're my pellet rigs, so number 9 shot, my shallow rigs, whatever shot it is, they all go above my hook length loop. And then put my hook length on when I get there, plumb up, shorten my line, and then I put my shot in position when I'm on the bank, be it shot or cubes. I just move them to where it looks right to me, rather than measuring them. Because if it's, say, 4 foot down the middle, it could be 3.5 foot down the middle of the tunnel. But then on another peg, it could be 6 foot down the middle. So until I know how deep it is, I don't know where I'm going to be wanting to place my bulk and my droppers. But as a rule, I put them in, I'm going to say, like the bottom quarter of the rig, if that makes sense. But again, if it's a little bit harder, then just sliding your bulk up a little bit further. I just think doing it like that, you're much more versatile. Whereas if you tied them all up with 1 dropper here, 1 dropper there, and then a bulk, sometimes I want to fish a bulk and 1 dropper, say that 4x12, that same flow. If it was quite windy and say it was 4 foot down the middle, rather than using if the conditions were good and it was 4 foot down the middle, I'd use a 4x10, that same flow, but a 4x10. But if it was windy, I'd want to use a 4x12. Now, if it was windy and it's only 4 foot down the middle, I might want to have it as a bulk and 1 dropper. But I could use that same flow in 5 foot where I'm going to want a bulk and 2 droppers. I hope that makes sense. But basically, I don't put them, I don't have them at a certain measurement. One little tip though, when it comes to tying them with that, when you're using your cubes or stots, whatever you use, that type of shot, if that makes sense, you can just put them on the line, they slide, they never damage your line, they're absolutely fine. But when it comes to using shot rigs, the way I tie my rig is obviously get me weight, put that on my spool, put my float on the line, and then however many shot I want on that rig, I crimp on with my pliers that's on my line with my pliers. So make me loop, put all my shot on it, and then what I do is with a bit of this stuff, that slip lubricant, is just squirt it on my table, and then I wide my shot in it, obviously slide my float up. It's a great trick as well. So someone said that they bought all new pole floats. This is a brilliant little trick. I'm sure I see Des do this first. But basically, when you get a new carbon stem float, and I like using that Guru hook silicone, if you can see it there, I'm trying my best to show you. So that little bit in that white, where is it? Over here, that little bit, if I move my finger out of the way. I really like that Guru hook silicone for my floats on all my carbon stems, all my maggies, all my dinks, all my winter maggies, for that thickness of carbon. Up to 0.17, I really like that silicone. But when you're using a new carbon float, when you go to slide your flow, it can twist your line, especially if you're using like 0.15, 0.16. So again, with that, just spray a little bit on your desk, wipe it on your flow, it gets underneath the rubber, and when you slide it, it never damages the line. And I do the same with my shot. So I crimp on all my shot, wipe it in the liquid, slide me shots up, and every now and again just put like my finger where I'm moving the shot, just dip my fingers in that lubricant and slide it up. So I might slide it up, say, I don't know, 15, 18 inches onto my main line, slide it up, retie my loop, and you'll find that no matter how many shot or how big shot you use, so even if you're using, say, I don't know, you've got a rig that takes number 8 shot, and I like using Balabini shot, so it's quite hard, but it's uniform. That's the biggest thing. It's all deep cut centrally. When you slide it up, it never damage your line ever. And then just tie your loop, bring all your shot down. I'm going to get pad bricks that make it easier. Sorry for all the up and down malarkey, but I'd rather do it. So this one here is a 4x16. It's a solid bristle dink, so 1.5mm dink. But you'll be able to see all my shot, how many shot it takes. I think it's 2, 4, 6, 8, number 8 shot, Balabini. And then, where's my finger? Here, you'll be able to see like a couple of little trimming shot. And if you try to move those on the line, once you've just crimped them on, they're going to damage your line. Whereas if you use that stuff, just wipe your shot on it, slide it up, tie your loop, slide it all back down again with a bit of lubricant. I know with that, that's only tied to 0.16 main line. But I know when I get to the bank, I can plumb up and I can slide all my shot exactly where I want it and know that my line's never damaged. So that's the biggest thing. If you're using a new carbon stem float, just get a bit of that on your stem when you slide your flow, and it'll never damage your line after that, because when I've finished with a rig, obviously I cut my line above my flow, butt them together, tie them in an overhand knot, wet the float, and just slide it on. You might just have to remove, that's another little thing that you might be able to see. So on my flow, I've got like 2 bits of silicone, and then that bottom bit of silicone is actually free. That's not on my flow. So again, when I get there and slide my flow to the depth I want, until I found like my body over depth and shorten my line, that's when I put that last little bit of silicone on. So again, it's just trying to make the most of your main line. You know, you don't want to damage it. But hopefully, Ryan, that gives you a few little tips. But honestly, when you're using shot, use that liquid. And trust me, you'll do it once and be like, well, I want to retail my rigs now, because it's no damage. When you sometimes with your line, you can do it with your fingers, you can't feel anything. Like you put it in between your lips and move it, you'll feel it all indented. With that, when you use that and slide it up and tie your loop, do that, it's just no friction. But that's why I tie them like that. Obviously, just with my bulk, and just move them on the day. And as long as you tie them up correctly and use that stuff, you'll never have a problem. Honestly, you'll never tie a shot rig any other way. So moving further down, this one's from Phil. Don't forget mine's on time. And then this one's from Macca One. Hello, Paul. I'm fishing at Westwood's May Festival. Any advice for not blowing the peg up? It's a difficult one, Macca, with Westwood. I haven't been there for a little bit, to be honest. Swallow is really good. That's my favourite lake. If you can get across into shallow water, pellets are really, really good. I'm just trying to think May time. It'd be unbelievable. It'd be solid then. It's solid now. I don't, like I say, I haven't been there for a little bit, but I think Swallow be like maggots, casters. I think casters are definitely starting to play more of a part, but up and down, a lot of shallow fishing on Swallow if you're going to do any good, but throwing bait short from the bottom, that can be very good. Falcon is, I love that lake. Again, short on the bottom, whether it be maggots or casters, maggots shallow. Fishing across, probably be hard pellets, I would have thought. And then in the edge, if you can get some shallow water, ground bait and live maggots. And then Skylark, I hate that lake. I say I hate that lake. It's just the one lake there where I go, and I have never got as much confidence, but it's definitely changed lately. Again, when I've been there fishing maggots or casters across, that's been really good. But other people like Andy, he catches really well fishing with hard pellets across. Fishing down the middle, again on the bottom with maggots and casters. And I think the last time I went there, in and around the spinners where it's quite deep, there was a few fish to be caught shallow, but it's ever such a weird one, Westwood, when it comes to shallow. You tend to catch them really, really shallow. You don't stop getting bites and go a little bit deeper and start catching them like you would do at, say, Tunnel or somewhere else. Well, anywhere else, really. But Westwood, you tend to catch them really, really shallow. And they respond to bait. Sometimes, like on Falcon, I've caught really well, not slapping my rig. You're not allowed an overshotted rig, and you're not allowed a jigger there. But just sat there with your rig set like 6 to 9 inches deep and just throwing your bait on top of your float. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to knock the laptop in. Throwing your bait on top of your float, and you sit there and the float goes under. But if you try slapping all of the time, sometimes it's not the right way. I would say, though, on Swallow, that's the only one that's a bit different. You can catch them a little bit deeper there because it is deeper. But yeah, Falcon and Skylark, when you catch them shallow, you tend to catch them quite shallow. Hawk, that's a nice lake. You're fishing from the inside to the outside. Some pegs you've got cover and you fish shallow to cover. Some pegs you've got a mud line to be able to fish to that. But I would say on that lake, Hawk, there's a lot of fishing across. By all means, feed an edge line and feed a middle line. But Hawk, I would definitely say it's more across fishing than fishing, down the middle and in the edge. What I will say, though, is have a look back through my match reports, because you definitely be able to. I know when I was going there, we went there quite a bit, so there'll be plenty of information on Match Focus if you have a look at our match reports. So what I'm going to do is I carry on going through our questions. I'll just move all our rubbish out of the way, and then I'll go through, obviously, what you're all here for, see if you've won. So, yeah, quickly touching on, Joe will send you an email. If you subscribe via the website, it'll be from support@matchfocus.co.uk. If you subscribe via YouTube, please email us. And she said, remember, some of our subscribers have the same name. So if you think you've won and you subscribe to YouTube, just send us an email and we get it sorted as such. Or you can just message me and I'll forward it on to Joe. So I've gone through what you're all going to win. I got distracted, didn't I? So our first winner is Mark Travis. Congratulations, Mark. Our second winner is Jordan Riley. Congratulations, Jordan. Our third winner is Melvin Rowe. Congratulations, Melvin. Our fourth winner is Lewis Bowen. Congratulations, Lewis. Our fifth winner is Adam Bentley. Congratulations, Adam. Our sixth winner is Brad Graham. Congratulations, Brad. Our seventh winner is Anthony Green. Congratulations, Anthony. Our eighth winner is Andrew Russ. Congratulations, Andrew. Our ninth winner is Paul Jones. Congratulations, Paul. And our last winner is Scott Pell Franman. Right, so I'm going to read this out, Scott. I really apologise if I've messed it up. But it's Palframan. So Scott Pell Franman. I think I've said that right. But massive congratulations to all of our winners. What I will say is normally on the day when we're going to do our giveaway, we go live with Andy, but Andy's away filming this week. So we're going to do it on Tuesday, the 5th of March at 6:30 p.m. and not tonight. So congratulations to all of our winners, and that's when we'll be doing our live. So what I'll do, I'll carry on going through our comments, and congratulations, obviously, to any of our winners. So moving further down, this one's from Daniel Skinner. Paul, when silverfish come up in the water in wintertime, do you prime lines? I've had a few times recently where the fish are coming shallow. I pick up my shallow rig, get one or two, but then they disappear, and I have a lull period. Yes, it's common that, to be honest, they're not really competing. So you might go in, catch a couple, and then what you've got to work out with that, and this is the bit that I've definitely struggled with in the past, not just with silverfish, but with F1s as well, is you go in, you catch a couple, but what you find is when you go shallow, is you change your feeding. So, you know, for argument's sake, fishing on the bottom, ship out, you feed your required amount of bait twice, you sit, wait, float goes under, you strike, there's one on, or it's not, you drop it back in. But you find that you're feeding, say, once every, I don't know, say for argument's sake, once every 30 or twice every 30 seconds. Whereas when you go shallow, you flick your rig in, you throw some bait, you miss a bite, flick your rig in, you throw some more bait, you miss a bite, and you change your feeding. So a couple of things I'd say. One, I want to get you, I'm going to disappear 1 second. Jumping back down. Sorry about this. Up, down, up, down. So the biggest thing I would say when it comes to like your little road rig, make sure you're using this float, basically. There's only one to use, and that is a winter Maggie. So if they come in really, really shallow, what I'm going to say is really shallow, like less than 2 foot, use a 3B8 winter Maggies. That only takes 4 number 12 shot. So it's a real little light flow. They just cock so nicely. They follow your shot really well. And what's nice with them as well is the bristle is quite long. So they just fish really nice. So I'd say if you're getting bites less than 2 foot, 3B8 winter Maggie, 2 to 3 foot, a 4B8 winter Maggie, and then 3 foot and deeper, a 4B10 winter Maggie. You definitely get more bites using those floats. What I will say, though, is what you've got to work out is if you go shallow and the fish are bigger, then it makes sense to, if you can carry on getting an odd bite doing it, it's worth doing because you don't need to catch as many fish if they're a bigger stamp. So what I might look to do is if I felt like it was going to be more shallow fishing, go a little bit further if possible. If you're in an open water lake, go that little bit further because they definitely sit off the bottom that little bit further out. If you're not getting loads of bites, so what you said, you've gone in and you've caught an odd and shallow, but then it goes on you, you've changed your feeding and sort of messed up your bottom swim. So then I'd be looking at fishing as close to myself as possible where the fish stay best, if that makes sense, and just almost ignore the odd one, or go in, catch one or two shallow, but don't change your feeding. That's the biggest thing, you know, because it's exactly the same as daft as it sounds. When you're fishing with 8 mils for carp, when you're fishing a pellet waggler and a bomb, when you're fishing a waggler, you're casting, you're feeding all the time. Whereas when you're fishing a bomb, you change your feeding to make them stay on the bottom. So you feed more bait less often, feed your bait, set your trap. You might not feed again for 2.5 minutes. Whereas when you're fishing a waggler, you know what I mean, you're feeding all the time, you're casting, so there's bait falling through the peg. I think that's exactly what happens when you've gone from fishing on the bottom, getting bites and catching them. You're very methodical with how much you're feeding, how often you're feeding. Whereas when you go shallow, you change all of that. So that's the other thing to bear in mind, Daniel. But hopefully there's a few little tips in there. Try to catch a few more. But yes, definitely think about that. Sometimes you're just better off fishing from on the bottom, unless they're a totally different stamp when you catch them shallow. In that case, go that little bit further. But hopefully that helps. So this one's from Steve. Still got about 5 miles to get my Katsuji line to get through. Yeah, that was a brilliant line as well. So 1 minute, I pressed the wrong button here. How do I do this? Right. Technology and bottle don't mix. So this one's from Steve. What you got to do to enter the giveaway, or is it like a rover? What have you got to do? Oh, it's just for anyone who subscribes to Match Focus, be it on the website or on YouTube. We just do a giveaway every month, and all you've got to do is just be subscribed. There's no, it's just basically a random draw every month, and that's it. You haven't got to pay any extra or anything like that. It's just something that I've done for as long as I can remember, and it's just nice, you know. But basically, yeah, that's all you got to do is just be a subscriber, Steve. So going further down from Daniel, where do you buy the grey boards from? I've got that Guru hook length box and it did not come with that grey board. No, wherever you bought your hook length box from, they sell spares. So you'll get, they're sure they're like in a little cardboard box, and they sell these separate, which is really nice. So if you just go into wherever you bought them, or if they don't sell them, if you look online, I don't know what they're called, but if you look at just spare hook length pins, but you will be able to find them. They definitely sell them separate, Daniel. So just have a look either in your tackle shop where you got your hook length box, or if they haven't got it online, you'll definitely find one. And the spare ones are obviously the grey ones and the orange one. Don't know if you get like one or two in the same packet. I'm not too sure, to be honest. I don't know if the grey ones come separate from the orange ones, but I know they definitely sell them separate. So have a look around, you will be able to find them. So Steve, can you still get Gloucesters? Was told they've been discontinued. Yes, I don't think many places have them. The one thing that I didn't realise, to be honest, it was only when we done our live last month, is Rich sells a carbon 1.5 mil solid bristle carbon chimp. So 1 minute. I might as well, I've been up and down that many times, I might as well do it once more. So this flow, Steve, 1 second, if I jump back down. Should have left my rig box right next to me, shouldn't I? So that there, if you can see, without me shaking, is called a carbon chimp, and they're just lovely, really, really long floats. These ones are the only ones I actually thought he sold. I didn't know he sold any others, and this is me carp float. So it's got a 2 mil hollow bristle, but he sells a 1.5 mil solid bristle, a 1.5 mil hollow bristle, and a 2 mil hollow bristle. So I'm actually getting some made at the moment. Well, not specifically for me, but he sells them. But I'm going to get some with a 1.5 mil solid bristle. And I'll be honest, for how good these 1.5 mil solid bristle maggies and the same 1.5 mil solid bristle dings, I can't see myself ever using a Gloucester once I've got these. Biggest thing that I like about these carbon chimps is they're such a long float and they sit because the bristle, you have to see there, compared to say, I know it's a smaller float, but like that's a Maggie. If I can, it's the carbon in the way. Well, it is, but you can sort of see it. If I offer them up the same, I know that that's a 0.6 and this is a 4B12. Can you see how much longer the bristle is? So when you're fishing in deep water, they just sit so stable, it's unbelievable. And even for a carbon stem float, when it's moving around, because the float is so long, it just sits there so well. So once I've got these 1.5mm solid bristled carbon chims, I'll be honest, I can't see myself ever using a Gloucester again, because I just think I'd use that for everything. But I keep you updated with how I'm getting on. But I know that Andy's been using them obviously for a while, and I'm trying to think. I know Tom Scully put up a post not long ago just saying he's in love with them, and they're unbelievable floats for that sort of deep water skimmer fishing. So as soon as I've got some, I'll keep you updated. But with everything else I've ever used, I can't see myself ever changing back, to be honest. So I'll keep you updated with how I'm getting on with them, Steve. So it's from Terry Swan. Afternoon all. Afternoon, Terry. Hope you're keeping well. Let's go further down. This one's from Andrew Rogers. Paul, bit off the wall, but what personality traits do you think have helped you become a top angler, which have hindered you? So I don't know how to answer this. Personality traits. I think to start with, growing up, I feel like I'm a nice kid. I try and help everyone out, and I've always been like that. So I feel like when I was younger, that definitely helped me, because the right people wanted to help me. They wanted to see me do well. And without them, it's different nowadays. You can pay your money as such. And for the information that you can just go and watch and see now, it's totally different. But back when I started, if the right people didn't like you learning, you had to do it all for yourself. So I would say the fact that I was a nice kid, that's got to be the only reason why a lot of people wanted to help you, I think. So I think that's got to be there, what helps you. I think, what's the other one? I work very hard, so I think that's definitely helped me. I'm never satisfied, bit of a perfectionist. That's helped me, but going on the hindering, that hinders me at times. So when you put a lot in, and we all know what fishing's like, I can get the ump easy. Not with people, but I get the ump with fishing, as in when you put a load of time and effort in and you don't get rewarded for it, that hurts. So I'd say that's a negative and a positive. Lack of confidence, if I'm being truthfully honest. I think a lot of people think I'm a lot more confident than I am. I don't think I've ever been I think when I was a kid, I was really confident, because I was very fortunate enough to grow up on a river in my garden. So when I was a kid, obviously I was obsessed with fishing. That's all I wanted to do. So I would say when I was like 15, 16, 17, that sort of age, maybe not when I was really young, but when I was that little bit older, it was obvious that I was a lot better than the other kids. Not all of the kids, but a lot of them, because you could see it clear as day. But where other kids were like, I don't know, maybe fishing weren't that important to them, where it was massive for me. So when you sat next to people, I don't think I'd ever class myself as arrogant, but I was a lot more confident when I was a kid than I ever have been. Even now, at times I'm not confident. But again, I think that's a positive and a negative. When you're not confident and you're always self-doubting, that helps you because you're hungry and you want to prove yourself, and you sort of never rest on your laurels. But what that can hinder you with as well is you're always second guessing yourself when you're fishing. So sometimes you think you should be doing better than you are, or you think there's more into it. So you try too hard. So it's a difficult one, you know. I think there's definitely anglers out there that I'd like to swap some bits with. I would say it's weird, you know, because I'm very fortunate enough to be around a lot of all the very best anglers. They're all different. So I'd say from the outside looking in, Christian and Andy very chilled, very confident, quietly confident. Whereas Will, he's ultra confident when he's fishing once he's digested everything. But he is like me in the fact that he's not second guessing himself, but he's always thinking, what do you reckon to this? What do you reckon to that? So it's sort of a mix, but I think it's always that striving to be better, I would say. I think anyone that's got that is always going to go far. And I think I've spoken to Jimmy about this a bit. And the biggest thing he said to me is hunger beats talent. Because if you're talented and lazy, it can happen for you, but you don't have to be the most talented person. If you're hungry, you want it. You know, it's that crunching at the bit all of the time. And I think for me, I don't know. This would probably be a really good way of explaining it, actually. So when I'm going fishing, like Monk Hall is the perfect example. So we went there this Saturday. I absolutely love it. Just everything about it. I love the scenery of the place. I love the people. Everyone's so nice. The lakes are just beautiful when you get there and you're just looking around. It sort of feels like you're at Porth. And the fishing's amazing. So loads of quality fish. Not always easy to catch, but loads of quality fish. I would drive to the Moon to do that, even though you're only fishing against 10 or 12 people, because they're sort of small lakes. But I love that. I can't get enough of it when I'm enjoying it. Whereas going and traveling to do a qualifier somewhere I don't really want to go, I know that I'm only, again, when you break it down, the harsh reality, I'm only going there to draw 3 or 4 pegs to qualify. I ain't got the motivation for it. And that is a weakness of mine, definitely, because what I find with myself is the matches, truthfully, that I probably should be fishing, I get the ump real quick with it because there's too much outside of what I can. There's too much about the draw that makes a big difference. I would rather go and fish a smaller match where more pegs can win it and I'm enjoying the style of fishing. So it's a difficult one, isn't it? You know, I think you have good and bad. Everyone's got something that's good about them, something that's maybe not as good for them. But yeah, it's difficult. It's a weird one. That I never really thought about that, Andrew. But yeah, I think you'll find that everyone's got the bit that you want, somebody else has got, and probably the bit that you've got that you take for granted, somebody else wants. But you never see it like that. You're just trying to get all of the bits that you want, you know. But I don't know. Hopefully, it's helped answer it. I've never really looked at it like that. But yeah. So anyway, moving further down, this one is from Jose. Hi, Jose. Going further down. I can't believe how long I've been on. Sorry, everyone, for keeping you this long on a Tuesday. And this one's from Richard Baker. Puddles in the house. I'm not too sure what that one is. But hi, Richard. Puddles in the house. Is that his nickname? I'm not too sure. So anyway, moving further down, it's from Steve Paul. Yeah, boy. Hope you're keeping well, Steve. So now I know why you're so good. Ah, I see what you're saying. I get you now. So going further down, Steve Paul taught me everything. Everyone can learn off everyone. And that's the biggest thing. We're all different steps of our ladder, all enjoying it, all trying to get better. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? So it's from Richard. I was still using a spear when I met Paul. Like, it all helps. Definitely from Steve. And further down, Steve Paul, how do you enter the giveaway? It's just if you subscribe to Match Focus on the website or on YouTube, you're automatically entered into the draw every month, Steve. And that's it. It's just a random draw every month. So going further down from Macca One, thanks for the advice. No problems at all, Macca. Best of luck at it was Westwoods, weren't it? But yeah, best of luck there. You'll love it. Again, Westwoods is a stunning venue. Alan, the owner, Richard, Lynn, and who else? Rob in the tackle shop. Everyone's just lovely there. It's just a lovely place to be. Westwood's immaculate, stunning. Honestly, you'll have a lovely time. And if you like drinking, there's a pub on site, so you will absolutely love it. It's from Daniel Skinner. Thanks, Paul, you're a star. More than welcome, Daniel. So we're nearly there now. It's from Ivo. Paul, when it's time to step up with the bristle, and what is the better for summer fishing on the deck? 2 mil. Yes, so with my floats, I've settled on a 1.5 mil solid bristle, Maggie for maggots, a dink for pellets, and I tie them to 016 mainline. You could use 015, but I just like 016. And then I've used a 1.7 mil Maggie for like my F1s and my carp. Again, when I'm changing my elastics and I'm changing my hooks, so I change my float. So winter time, obviously, hollow elastics I talk about, like yellow, pink, blue hydro, 016 mainline, 012 max, 010, 012 F1 pellet hooks. When you're starting to pull too much elastic out, and every one you're like, God, it feels like I'm using like a single free. You're just pulling way too much elastic out. Obviously, the weights are getting up. That's then when I'm looking to change from sort of, my yellow, blue, and pink hydro to white, grey, those more for me F1 fishing. At that point, when I change my elastics, that's when I'm going to step my main line up to 017 main line or 018. Rather than using a 1.5 mil bristle, I use a 1.7 mil bristle, and then I start using my super LWGs. For my carp fishing, it doesn't matter if I'm fishing in the winter, summer, I use, 022. The reason being is a lot of the places where I go, so like Gold, perfect example, if I get a bite in the edge, it could be £20. I don't want to be losing it, so I don't fish. Well, I'll fish 017. If one's coming in your peg, you're either going to get a bite or you're not going to get a bite. It's not like you're fishing for 100 bites and you might get 60 if you use too thick a line. It's not like that. So if it goes under, the last thing I'm thinking is it ain't going to snap me, because it could be £20. So that's why with my carp fishing, I don't mess around. I just fish that heavy all year round. And again, like, I might use a lighter elastic, say grey rather than red in the summer, but I don't mess around when it comes to my carp fishing. For all year round, I'll be using a 2 mil flow, 022 mainline, because of the style of fishing I'm going. Whereas, say if you went to somewhere like the Glebe, for argument's sake, I know where you are, Ivo, you're in Ireland. If you're just fishing out and out for carp, then I might fish 017 and maybe smaller, a 16 super LWG rather than an MWG in the winter time, and then lighter elastics. But where I go, they're too big to fish like that. I don't want to be fishing, say, 017, hook one, and it just goes straight, that's in the mouth and just cleans me out. So it's just sort of tailoring it to where you're going. But I would say, I remember when you messaged me, I'm sure it's more carp and bream you said that you were fishing for. It's mad how you remember some things. But yeah, in the winter time, I'd probably fish white hydro, 018 mainline, a 1.7 mil Maggie. In the summertime, then I'd fish heavier elastic than that. Obviously, probably black hydro, that sort of equivalent, 022 mainline, and a super MWG if you were fishing with hard pellets. Again, in the winter time, I wouldn't fish anything less for carp than a super LWG. I'd never fish an F1 pellet hook for that. Just fish 014, 016, 16 super LWG if you want to fish like corn. Fishing hard pellets, then a super LWG eyed, and then in the summertime, just step up to a super MWG. The last thing that I want my rig to be durable. And I think when you're proper carp fishing, I don't know if it makes that much of a difference. If someone was next to me fishing for carp and fished 016 and I was fishing 022 mainline, it wouldn't bother me one bit. When it goes under, I don't want it snapping because they are that big where I go. But hopefully that helps you, Ivo. So we're almost done now, and then can love you and leave you, let you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. So this one's from Andrew Rogers. Thanks for answering my question honestly, Paul. Not easy to self-assess. I think I'm ultimately too lazy to be better. P.S. I think you seem like a top bloke. Yeah, I tried my best. I know that I've got some things that again, like hook clems. I don't need to tie that many. No, and sometimes probably not good for me to advertise that I tie that many, but I've always been taught. I remember when I was younger, and I think when you're younger is when you're most, what's the right word? You're most influenced. And at that point, I was fishing with Will all of the time, and he always said to me, anything that you can do at home that you never have to do on the bank, you're going to be better for. And I literally took that to heart. And when you're learning off certain people, with William, preparation was the most important thing. And like, you listen to anything he does, if you think I'm prepared, like, you got to see in his tackle room is ridiculous. And I know he's professional, but whatever level you're doing it at, is making sure that basically you're not there with like, well, I wanted that hook and I've only got one, so if that breaks, I'm stuffed. Like, make sure that you've got what you need for the amount of matches that you're fishing, basically that you're always prepared. It's weird, when I was decorating, fishing was my switch off from real life, i.e. decorating work. Whereas now I work in fishing is my work. So I had no switch off. And what I found, to be honest, is doing my preparation is, as daft as it sounds, I know it's fishing, but that's my switch off from the real world, where I can just put my phone on or put my iPod on, listen to whatever album that I'm listening to. And as daft as it sounds, when I'm doing my prep, that's my breakaway from the real world, if that makes sense. I just plug myself in. I'm not answering no calls. I'm not replying to anything. I'm not worried about, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. I'm switched off from the real world, basically. So prep is my switch off. That's probably why I do so much. But the biggest thing is just always trying to make sure you're prepared, that you never go in fishing thinking, oh, if only I had that float set up, or if only I'd have had that rig, I'd have caught another handful of fish. So anything for me that's sort of inside of my control, I've never wanted to go without it. But exactly what we're saying about when you're self-assessing, when you do a lot and you're not rewarded for it, it's hard. That's the one thing. Fishing is sometimes you can't go wrong. You know what it's like. You go in there and you just feel like you're going to win because everything's going right for you. But other times it's not going right for you, and you come home and you do your gear and you don't get a chance. You come home and you do your gear and don't get a chance. That's when it hurts. But again, sometimes, like when you just said there, I think ultimately I'm too lazy to be better. You won't take it to heart as much because you haven't spent God knows how long. You've chosen to do your gear over spending time with the missus. That's when it can hurt sometimes. But yeah, you've got, good and bad in both. And I think sometimes when you chilled out, just go there and think, oh, I'm just going to do this, and you make it work. So definitely there's positives and negatives in everyone. But hopefully it helped you, Andrew. So we're getting there. Well, I thought I was getting there, but I'm not really getting there. So what we do, we go for another sort of 10 minutes, and then I love you, we'll leave it. So this one's from Steve. How do you shot your 3B8 winter maggots, Paul? They take 4 number 12 Balabini shot. If you're fishing with maggots and you want it dotted down to a pimple, like a single maggot, 4 number 12s. If you're fishing with like a bit of a worm or a bigger hook bait double maggot, then 3 number 12 shot. So that's how I shot them. Just 3 or 4. Well, I always put 4 number 12 Balabinis, and I can just take one off if I need to. So this one's from Tony. Hi, Paul. 3rd on the open, getting there, and on expander. Lovely. Well done, Tony. That is awesome. Made up for you, mate. Go on, lad. So this one's from Steve. Thanks for Thanks for all tonight, Paul. Say hello to the boss for me. I definitely will, Steve. I definitely will, and you're more than welcome. This one's from Darren Hill. Hi, Paul. Are you doing any individual coaching anytime soon? As I'd like some help at Tunnel. To be honest, Darren, I haven't sorted out all my calendar, but me and Andy are doing a couple of group days. Let me. Don't know. If you send me a message, I can send you the dates. I know 2 of them have sold out, but the biggest problem, I'll be honest, Darren, is at the moment we're trying to do more for Match Focus. So we're trying to do like a masterclass and a live each month. And then once I've done my match reports and all the traveling stuff, I just haven't got as much time as I used to have. So I still want to be doing a few, but I'm currently thinking about other ways that I can fit everyone in. But it's like, it's weird because from, I'd say, April through till October, I need like 12 days in a week. And then in the wintertime, I just have like 2 or 3 days in the week. I just haven't got as much time as I used to with our Match Focus. But yeah, if you message me, obviously I can send you the date of the one that we're doing with Andy. We've done a few in the past and they've always gone down really well. Everyone's loved it. So recommend having a look at that. But if I can fit a few individual days in, I will do, but I can't guarantee it. And what's difficult is, again, with our filming, is I've always got to leave days free in case meltdowns happen, you know, like we're planning on doing something and it's hammering it down with rain. So it's awkward. So until I never really know what I've got until it's almost too late, to be honest. But yeah, if you send me a message, I can put you on my list. I've got a long list at the moment, but I can send you the dates over as and when me and Andy are doing a few. But I'm thinking of is there another way that I can do it where they're smaller, it's just me, and I do it through Match Focus and doing it like on a monthly basis so I can get everyone in, because it's just really difficult. But yeah, message me, Darren. I'll do my best. So going further down from Ivo, thank you, Paul. I just ordered my Super MWG yesterday. I'm getting there. And again, we'll be live. We're doing our live. That'd be a great question, yours, for our live. I made sure I've saved that back. But yeah, it's Tuesday. I did message, didn't I? So this one's from Sam. Hi, Paul. Having been trying to paint my bristles with green neon paint, not really worked. Have you ever tried green? No. That there is yellow Sensors paint. And if you do it on your solid bristle floats, it's just unbelievable. They glow up like mad. So this is it there. I'm sure. So I know Simon Willsmore sells some as well through his thing, and I've heard that's really, really good paint. But these are the 2 paints I've used. Sensors one, like a yellow, and obviously the red one, and they just glow up so nicely. I don't paint the hollow bristle floats, but all my solid bristle floats. So my 1.5mm solid bristle maggies and my dinks, and obviously my winter maggies. So just give them 1 coat of paint. They don't always look the best up close, but they just glow up so much. And it's all, I definitely think it's to do with your eyes and what you see best. I know when I used to fish with Pem, talking about speaking to the right people, again, when I was younger, Pem was massive for me. Tommy Hillier was massive for me, but it just come into my head because Pem could only ever see yellow. So when we used to get our flows, I always used to give him the yellow ones because I always see red and black best. But since I've got my glasses, like my yellow glasses, and when you're fishing, again, I do a lot of fishing to far bank cover now, whereas in the past I never used to do that. It was all open water, so it was either dark and I used a red flow, or it was white and I used a black flow. But definitely depending on what eyesight you see best. And I almost never go fishing without my glasses now. I know they're expensive, but basically one's a yellow tint and one's like a brown tint. The yellow one for low light, I can't fish without them. They're unbelievable. And when you paint your flows, it's like it's sat there. Well, not always. You'll be able to see with the close-ups. I can't always see the best, but I can see so much more than I ever could. But yeah, try, not really worked, with green neon paint. It's not really worked. Have a go with that Sensors one. but just try it on you. It'll glow up better on your solid bristle floats than it will your hollow bristle floats. The nice thing with obviously your hollow, the light can shine through it, whereas with your solid, for me, it don't shine through it as well. But as soon as I give it one coat of paint, it's like it's unmissable, if that makes sense. So I'm wondering where you've been. It's like you disappeared off the face of the earth and not give us no grief for ages. Right, surely I've won. You haven't, Matty, unfortunately. Bless him. He don't need to win. You had a right result, didn't you? You done well on that, what was it, on the flyer thing. You don't need to win on our little giveaways. No, you stay away, Matthew. You mean man. Let somebody else win something for a change. So it's from Gordon, big star in my hospital, top man. Wish I could join. Well, hopefully one day, Gordon, you will be able to. But I'm glad you're obviously enjoying the bits that you see. So we're almost at the end now. So this one's from Telmo. What you guys think about soft pole rig? Soft pole. What? Sorry. Line. What do you guys think about soft pole rigs? Line pole rigs. No, I'm confused on that one, Telmo. But if you send me a message, I'll definitely reply to you. But that is going to be the end of this month's giveaway. It's gone on a lot longer than I thought it was, so apologies for that. But hopefully I've helped a few of you out. We've got quite a bit coming on Match Focus soon. So I've done a bomb masterclass one. That's really interesting because it's definitely changed a lot where I've been fishing. I feel like I've learned loads about that moving forward. So I think that'll be a really good watch. And not that I've mentioned it already, but we went to Munkle and filmed a live match. If ever you get the chance to go there. It's unbelievable. It's just immaculate. It's just perfect. I absolutely love it there. So definitely you'll really enjoy that. And I think when you watch that live match, you'll see why I enjoy it so much. And what was nice, so I was speaking to Baz and Phil about it afterwards, saying, because Baz obviously Middlesbrough, he needs almost a plane, Baz does, rather than a car. And I really wanted them to enjoy it. And when I said to Baz, what do you reckon? He's like, mate, this is unbelievable. We've got to come back here. I was like, woohoo, in my head, like, you little men in your head, whoever talks to you. It was literally like, yes, jumping up and down cheering. So we'd definitely be going to Munkle to be able to do a few more live matches there. But yes, that is it for this month. I'll see you all next time we're doing our live, or next time we're on the bank, or next time you jump onto Match Focus. But cheers for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening, and I'll catch up with you all very soon. Take care.